What is going on, everybody? Happy Wednesday, right? Today's Wednesday. Am I saying that right? Is today Wednesday?
Wednesday.
I think so.
It is Wednesday. I think so.
Wednesday.
The days that they get blurred for me all the time. But anyway, happy Wednesday, guys. It's hump day. We finally made it through half our week. You got to be excited about that. Summer's almost here. Weather's warming up. Pretty excited. I don't know about you. Lots of stuff going on within the industry. We could talk a little bit about that today. There's always something in the news worth mentioning. I think there's a bunch of hot topics too. Crypto's taking a shit a little bit, but obviously that's a given, right? There's so much other political nonsense and stuff that has to do with it. Go ahead, Sleazy.
I have a short D&D game about that, but yeah, we'll get to that after our introductions. But speaking of, do you know why I recently found out why it's spelled Wednesday, but it's called Wednesday? That is actually because the Wednesday came from Odin. Like
Really?
it's Odin's Day, like W Odin, so Woden's Day.
I actually believe I heard something
Wednesday
about that. I believe just like they say July for Julius Caesar and in August for Augustus Caesar, which obviously come from the other months as far as the calendar is concerned. But that is a really good fun fact.
Yeah, it's fun fact. So it's Sunday, it's Moon Day, it is Tears Day, which became Tuesday, then Odin Day. I don't know Thursday, and Friday is Freya's Day.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Listen, man, people joke around all the time and they don't realize like how much paganism is involved in like everything that we do, man. There's so much of it involved. But being
also
said,
7 days came from Christianity, so that's weird, I guess.
It's an amalgamation of everything from all over. But we have an awesome guest today, Z, who is showing up with us on behalf of Arcas. Z, would you like to, introduce yourself real quick?
All right, sorry. So, I'm Z. Yeah, really nice to be with you guys. And I believe this is like the last round that we had space, or basically this live session was with my colleagues, and specifically Dan, the founder, as well as Toad. And yeah, I'm basically in charge of the marketing for Arcas. And again, Arcas being a gaming focused project, which we have our first gaming title, which is called Arcas Champion. The demo is available on Steam and such. And yeah, we are here together with Post Studio, which we stumbled upon when we actually get started in building on Sonium, right? So we are pretty much working hand in hand together with Post Studio as well. So yeah, happy to be with you guys.
Thank you so much. Listen, man, thank you for being here. Z or Zed, depending on where you're from. So we'll let the audience decide that. But as far as that, I also want to introduce Noodle, who's also one of our co-hosts and one of our marketing managers, and he is absolutely incredible at what he does. The guy, he has many talents, as well as obviously we can't forget about CZ or CMO. CMO is always doing, making magic happen, man. He's making magic happen. That being said, all that and more on today's episode. Let's jump in. Okay, so first things first, I want to talk a little bit about, we can kind of jump in, updates, everything that's going on with everybody, the community, the industry. I mean, there's just so much crazy nonsense going on. Obviously, with the economic downturn that we've seen, I think it's, just one of many to come. I think it's just a part of it all, right? In reality, I still think that overall we're moving in the right direction. I'm still really bullish on the direction actually that we're moving in. I won't talk too much because this isn't the conversation for that in regards to the tariffs and obviously what's going on this side of the pond. But I will say that I think a lot of people are panicking and they're getting worried about things and getting all worked up about things when in reality, there's a process, right? I think everything has to go through a process. I think this is really what I would call, growth pains, putting it mildly. But the reality is these are all necessary evils, right? We've been through enough cycles in this industry to understand that what goes up comes down, what goes down goes up.
That's
All
the
that
this topic, by the way.
yeah.
Nice.
So I, with that being said, I do want to jump in, Sleazy. I'll kind of let you, go in from here, and we could talk a little bit about where you're at and what you're up to, and what we're doing.
As in general updates, or
Yeah, general bit. We could talk. I'm going to talk a little bit too about the campaign today. I'm going to give it some time. Like I wanted to give you a chance to cover maybe some of the stuff that you want to cover on the marketing end. And then we can kind of dig in on some of the campaigns later. And then we'll love to get with, Arcas and find out more about their recent updates and everything that they're doing, because I really like what they're doing over there. Love the game, love the project. The marketing is really, well done and executed. I think overall it's an exciting time for them as well.
Yeah, and just as the comment comes in, yes, one ecosystem batch, I guess. Yeah, pretty much, at least for our projects. I'm not too familiar with how others distribute theirs. We distributed the initial batch, which was most of them, and then we manually solved the problems for all of the other ones. We made a pretty interesting Discord bot, which developed by our superstar CTO. I never knew that Discord bots can be used in such interesting ways. But yeah, essentially, we're quite proud of how it turned out. We just click the eligibility. If it says yes, it will send to you automatically within a couple hours. If not a couple hours, maybe like 3 or 4 hours. So yeah, that worked out quite well on our end. And we will announce it later today, but might as well say it here. Our version 2 is coming
Exciting.
in mere days.
Days.
There will be a lot of exciting campaigns and announcements, not just for the launch of version 2, but also shortly afterwards. So you can look forward to this, and we'll work Noodle to the bone to help us with that.
I cannot wait.
No, listen, he's killing it on TikTok. I like the TikToks all the time. I see them all the time. For those that don't know, Noodle, he manages a lot of the chopping and screwing also as well on the content and TikToks and the videos, and he just absolutely crushes it. I find myself throughout my day, when I do those rare moments, I have some spare time and I'm just scrolling. I'll catch a video, like, maybe there's something that'll have annoyed me in that day, and then I see it makes me laugh because he cuts the perfect scene. He'll find like nonsense that makes me look stupid, and I love it because it's like, it forces you to put yourself out there, and it's really cool. I really think it's really cool.
But you know how a lot of people hate the sound of their own voice.
Yeah. I'm one of those people. I can't stand it.
But also, if you do it a lot, you kind of stop caring because you hear it so much that you kind of go desensitized to it,
But I think I sound different whenever, like when I'm cutting the clips, I'll be like, that can't be me talking, surely, because it'll just sound so weird.
It is. It kind of throws you off a little bit. But that being said, as far as the announcement is concerned, yeah, guys, to just do a quick reiteration, the badge checker. So for all those that are, tuning in, that are looking for the badges, simply go into the Discord, go into the announcement section. There's a little checker. You click on the link, you drop your wallet address, boom. If you are eligible, it'll automatically tell you. The blockchain does not lie. And then at that point, it'll literally be automatically airdropped to you within 2 to 5 hours. We automate everything completely hands off. So we like to make sure that process is nice and clean and streamlined. So if you do have any issues, that being said, feel free to open a ticket. You can open up a support ticket. And obviously, shout out to a lot of the people dropping comments. As always, CryptoNad showing up every day. Listen, man, I love you, bro. You are the man. Really appreciate everything. And good morning, big GMs to you as well. Which brings us to our guest of the day, Arcas and Z, or Zed, depending on where you're from. What is going on, Z, man? Talk to us, man. Arcas is cooking right now. Talk a little bit about all the stuff you're cooking, man. Tell everybody a little bit about the project.
Yeah, so
Do you like cooked
again,
bananas?
Say it again,
Sorry?
please.
Do you like cooked bananas?
Bananas.
Oh,
Yeah, man, we are
fun fact,
cooking.
actually, in the wild, people used to cook bananas because they're not like bananas that we eat at the store. They are like wild bananas. They are very different, So they had to cook them to actually be able to eat them.
Love this. Thank you, Sly Fox. We love you too. Don't think we don't see your comments. We love you too, man. We really appreciate it. We do it like every day, man. 5 days a week, guys. You can check out our individual podcasts as well. Sleazy does side shows. I do the podcast, The Side Hustle. And then Connor, I know he does a couple different things. We're gonna get Connor involved more, man. We're gonna get Connor doing his own show, man, because I think that guy needs to be highlighted in his own show.
I would love to do my own show.
I think you
I'll
should.
just put that out there right now.
We're gonna put you in a slot. We're gonna put you in a slot, man. You need to get your own show going.
Go on.
All right, go ahead, Z. Let us know, man. Tell us about Arcas because you guys are awesome. I love what you do.
So I mean, like same to you guys as well. We are like we are a fan of on what Process Studio is currently building, right? And yeah, so for us, Arcas, in simply put, we are an indie gaming studio. Again, coming out with our first title, which is called Arcas Champion. And essentially, the game is available to be wishlist on Steam, and that the demo is available to be downloaded on Steam as well. So currently, with what is our actual scope of work in the sense where if you're talking about game deving, right, is to refine bugs and to ensure that the multiplayer server or the private match server is working well, as well as there's a new tutorial mode which we are pushing. Hopefully by end of this month, we'll be able to get it up live, the refined version of our demo on Steam towards the end of the month. And in terms of the game, it's a platform shooter that basically just imagine Donkey Kong Country and Modern Warfare 2, like they gel in together and it comes in a very fun and sort of like original concept per se. Just with with Crazy Ape, with advanced movement and holding banana pistols where we are able to shoot banana seeds.
I love it.
And when you reload the banana, right, you are able to actually consume the banana and replenish a portion of your health. So that is
that's really cool. That's a cool mechanic, man. I think that's the best thing about when gaming companies come up with unique mechanics, because I feel like we see all the same stuff all the time. Yeah. So when I see something like really cool like that, I always think it's like the coolest thing ever. And I'm like a little kid when it comes to this stuff. So like, I love it. Tell me this. I have a question for you. In your process of developing in gaming, right? What do you think has been probably the toughest part in regards to the development process? Do you think it's the servers that tend to take a little bit more time to maintain and manage? Do you think it's the development of core mechanics? Like, which part of that do you think seems to take up most of your time in that game development process?
Okay. So in my opinion, like because we deal with the developer, I don't build the game itself. I'm more on the marketing and the BD side. And in terms of the most challenging part when it comes to developing or maintaining the game, as you said, right, it's definitely gonna be the server part. In terms of the graphic and the overall design and stuff like that, in terms of character development, character modeling, weapon modeling, it wouldn't be as intensive as compared with a server, because at times server there is so many possibility in the things that could go wrong, and we have to like identify and actually scope down on what is the actual problem, because each time when there is issues with the servers, it's definitely on the different spectrum, and which is why we have a small program which is called the Prime program, where we have a small group of users to be able to actually handle the bug and submit the report to us, and we reward them accordingly. So that is one of the solutions that we have at the moment. So yes,
that's really cool.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's actually really enlightening. I think a lot of people out there, they don't ever get to see behind the scenes of the actual game development process to get an idea of all the things that one goes through just to kind of push something like this live, right? Because there's like this misnomer in Web3 that you can kind of develop this game in a couple months and push it live. And it's like, it's not like that. Most games, I tell people all the time, if you look at GTA 6, this has taken like 13 years. And it's like, not all games are the same, right? Like you can push out maybe a side scroller or a top down game and get something basic out really quick. But to have like a production level, game where you can actually have, a scalable user base, but that takes a lot of time and a lot of effort, man. So kudos to you guys, man, for being able to accomplish something like that. What else is going on? Go ahead.
I just thought of it. If it really takes you that long to push out a game, by the time you actually do, the engine on which you actually build the game is gonna be old, right?
Yeah, right. And the Unreal Engine updates like every week. I don't know about you guys. Have you developed it in Unity or Unreal? Do you know that? That might be a technical question you're unfamiliar with. It's okay.
Yeah, we are using Unreal Engine. So
Okay.
yep.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan. I develop in Unreal, so like, I'm a big fan. I do think it's really cool. I think at the end of the day, you guys are definitely moving on the right track. You know, if you look at Power World and case studies like that, those guys, man, 3 years and 4 of them didn't even have any prior knowledge, and they did it. And what you guys did is clean. It looks professional, and it looks like production for me. Like it looks like a production quality game. So, you know, I definitely think it's great. I play, you know, jumped in some of the mechanics on the demo. I think it feels great. Other than that, what are some of the other things you guys are working on that you're excited about?
Aside from game deving, right, it would be, of course, like you guys building on Sonium. And just now I heard the updates where you guys have the badge checker, right? So for us, we are also on the Sonium badge campaign, and we are currently distributing all of the badges, and hopefully we are able to complete the entire process by today, end of today. There is about like a 6K over batch of ours that is minted for the current campaign. How about you guys? Yeah.
Yeah. About as far as wait, what's the question again? I'm sorry. I just want to make sure I heard you right.
How many badges that were minted?
Oh God! By the time we're done, it's gonna be.
I mean, right now I think it's like 5K or something.
Yeah, we're at now. We're not done until the 15th, so we have. Yeah. We have a lot of them to distribute, so we're distributing them like it got so bad that it got to the point where, thank God for our CTO. Shout out to Nick St. Germain. He's awesome, man. You know, what he ended up doing was like, you know, fuck this. We're going to create not only an eligibility checker, but an application that automatically airdrops it for you. So what happens is when people go into our checker and it checks to verify whether they're eligible, it'll automatically airdrop them the badge within 2 to 5 hours after that. So they no longer need to worry about anything. By the time it's all said and done, I imagine, I mean, it's going to be close to 10 grand. It's a lot. Wow. It's been nutty. Yeah. It's been nutty. But I would imagine by the 15th, I don't know if I had to be realistic, I would say somewhere between like 5 to 8. I don't know the exact number right now, but I can get it. I'll get it for you. Yeah, so
I think we're a bit above 5K. So yeah, maybe another 2,000 or something. I don't know.
But so far so good. But forget that. I'm excited about what you, like I said, your guys' badge. Tell me a little bit about what you did. Let's talk about that. Let's get everybody. You know what I mean? I want to talk about your badge. I want to talk about how did they obtain it? Tell us a little bit about what your process was, man.
So for our badge, for the Sony ecosystem badge, right? What we did is we set the criteria, because since our product is not actually viable yet at this moment, we did the quest, which is to allow users to actually trade our token for up to 10 times. And by doing that, you'll be eligible to actually mint receive the badge. And in terms of the utility for the badge, right, or maybe rewards that we'll be giving out for the users that is eligible, of course there is rewards, and we have yet to announce it, but definitely to actually give them a good amount of rewards. And because this would be our second batch actually on Sony, our first batch was minted around February. So if you somehow be able to attain that February batch as well, it's an SBT by the way, then your rewards will be much greater. So it's to sort of like reward the early users from the Sony ecosystem. So yeah, we are super excited on what comes next for Sony while we are building, and really excited, especially like the association with Sony, and of course Sony links to PlayStation, and the ball rolls and goes.
I'm excited for that, man. Like people don't realize I'm big on IP stuff. So there's two things that are really for me that you'll see me talk about a lot in the industry. One is stable coins, and two is IP. I've always been a big advocate of IP. You know, I worked as an executive in the IRL world, I call it the Web 2 world. And for me, a lot of the things that I learned was culture really matters. When you look at big companies and what is like the deciding factor between those companies, there's actually quite a few things, but it really narrows down to the small things, right? It's the details that really matter. And some of the things that I realize matters most is culture, right? Just like people don't quit jobs, they quit managers. And it's also IP. IP is a big one. You know, the future of this space, and especially with this space in particular, you know, is really well suited for is IP based stuff. So, you know, creating that, being able to license that, royalties, all sorts of stuff. There's a lot to really unpackage there. And the other thing is stables. Like a lot of people pay a lot of attention to meme coins and what's going on in the meme coin factory world. But the reality is that casino isn't always sustainable, right? It might be sustainable for those, you know, that are creating these systems, because at the end of the day, like any casino, the house usually always wins, right? And because if the house doesn't win, then how can it stand, right? Like there's no house. Like, you know, casinos would go out of business if everybody was constantly winning. And I think that's something to really take into account, because here's the thing. Although, you know, I love Morad and shout out to him, you know, he makes some really good points as far as like the cult mentality is concerned. But the truth is even if you join this cult and you find this community and you're a big part of this community, you know, that doesn't always pay the bills, right? That doesn't always, you know, at the end of the day, fulfill those other things that are not just wants, but needs, as far as Maslow's hierarchy of needs is concerned. So the truth is that stables overall, as the name implies, are more stable. And I do think that there is a lot more to explore on that front. I do think the way, you know, just in general, the tech works and the way people look at the contracts, the way that it's done, you know, whether it be through collateralized models, where it's, you know, either pegged to a digital asset, you know, whether it's actually, you know, backed 101, you know, to each their own. But once again, I do think that there's a lot more there, and that's kind of like the backbone in the industry, so to speak, as far as TVL is concerned. But anyway, Sleazy, I am excited. So I guess what we will announce a little bit today and I'll talk about it. You might as well announce it. We are going to be launching V2, guys. Really excited about this. If you haven't checked out our marketplace, you should. You know, right now we have the maintenance page up because V1 is officially over, guys. We're coming out of alpha, beta, whatever the hell you wanted to call it. It was great. It was fun. We learned a lot from it. Thousands of you participated. All of you gave us your comments. We love each and every one of you. It wouldn't be what it is today, or what it's going to be when we launch the next version live, without you. It's really cool because on the marketplace, you'll be able to buy, sell, and trade not only digital assets in the form of NFTs, but also tokens and agents. You know, a lot of what we do is also AI driven. So we're really excited to be launching our AI engine. All those things are coming and more, but we're going to start with the marketplace, some of the basic features. The design is completely overhauled, the user experience, which we're really excited about. And it's actually going to be tweaked even more in the coming weeks. So definitely excited for that. And we're going to be launching a campaign as a part of this launch with a bunch of partners, some of which I know you know. And essentially the idea behind it is it'll be almost like a raffle. We're going to have an NFT collection launch, like a commemorative launch. It'll be unlimited. It'll go on for about 4 weeks. And to kind of give you a little bit more of the logistics, I'm going to let Sleazy step up to the plate and tell us a little bit more about what those logistics actually are and how that collection will work.
Right. So we will be going with several campaigns. 2 of them are not announced yet, so I'm not going to announce them for them. But our plan is to have a commemorative NFT, which is a video. We are one of the few marketplaces that actually integrated a video type of format for all of the NFTs that we have. And so the way it's going to work is that by buying an NFT, you enter into a raffle. It will be $10 price if you win, and you can have up to 10 winners. It will be... Should we announce the price?
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. So you can buy for $1 the NFT, which will be a commemorative NFT for the start of our marketplace. Because we are starting something new, it will not have all of the features from the get-go. So it will be related to that. So you can look forward to how it's actually going to look. And we have not decided yet if it's going to be soulbound or not.
Yeah, it's just something small. More than likely, it'll be soulbound. I'm a big advocate for everything being soulbound to someone's wallet because, like, that's their, you know what I mean? It's like their identity, right? So to speak. Like wallets, I think, have evolved past like the typical, this is just like a payment transaction thing. There's a lot of people that keep their art collection there. There's a lot of, so, it's a part of who they are, even if they have actually ID tags. So more than likely it'll be soulbound. And then the other thing will be, it's just something simple, guys. It's something cool. It's fun. It's simple. We have some other badge stuff that's going to be coming in the near future. So those are going to have a lot more utility and be tied to things like token and all those stuff that you guys like so much that you annoy us about every day. But yeah.
And right now, the way we are going to approach this is that there are campaigns to encourage the farmers that give you volume, and then there are campaigns to encourage the long-term participant to build a cult.
Those the power users. Yeah, the power users. Yeah.
At least in this campaign, we will do a type of stuff where we are encouraging people who are willing to spend at least $1 on us, so to actually buy the
That's
NFT.
why. That's really what it is. It's just to keep people honest. Like in this industry, you get a lot of farmers, especially when you're using like the Galaxy and the Airlifts and all. Like a lot of these campaigning platforms are amazing, but they attract a particular type of user, right? Everybody's just coming in, or they bought things because they just want to get some airdrop and they allocate it amongst 1,000 different wallets. So like the reality is what really matters is building a community. So that's kind of like the main focus of what we're more lasered in on. That being said,
we'll have some of our partners participating as a sort of a housewarming party, but we'll share that later because it won't be immediately on the launch.
Yeah, I'm actually excited about that as well, just to be able to work with some of the guys. Anytime we get to work with new partners and do cool stuff, I'm always a big advocate of that. So Z, as far as Arcas is concerned, when is the official launch? I want to talk a little bit more about the game and what you guys got live currently, because I think that stuff is, I don't know if you see me, a good friend of mine, Steady Stack and Eat Denver. I'm like a walking billboard. I love to support other projects. I love seeing what you guys are developing and building, because I think at the end of the day, it's about highlighting those people, because it shows, man, there's quality out there. Talk a little bit more about the game and what you guys are going to have coming up. Do we have an official date on that yet?
Yeah, the eternal question: when? The button. When?
It's okay. It's okay if we don't have an official. I was just curious.
Yeah, so there is no fixed date yet because it's too dynamic in terms of the deliverable. For us to set a deadline, it's pretty hard, because in any of the day, if we are not able to actually touch the deadline, or we are inching towards the deadline but the progress is not to that point yet, then it will be a disappointment to the committee, right? So we will only give a sort of like rough kind of timeline, which we expect the game early access to go live around next year Q1. Yeah, but there's just so many factors that could cause the game delay, and most importantly would be to also align the game together with the market, because if the market is so shit, then it would actually affect the entire launch.
I love that. I love that you kept it real like that, because there's not enough people that understand, man. Like I tell people all the time, they're like, just throw this shit out there, launch this. I'm like, you don't understand, man. You spent all this time building this. And it's like, if you don't get that very crucial element correct, which is timing, like it can all come crumbling, and people don't realize the expense in maintaining servers and how this all works. So I love the fact that you guys are taking your time. I don't believe in dates. Like me personally, I'm the type of person where I'm just going to tell you it's coming soon. And the reason why I say that is I'll give you a ballpark. I'll say maybe between Q2 to Q whatever. But the reality is when you start putting dates on it, you create, especially in a dev environment, if anyone that's ever worked in DevOps or management, when you start putting anxiety on people and pressure and, unnecessary stuff, the quality suffers. And I think that a lot of the times you want things to be done right? You want that quality to come across. What has been some of your favorite? Talk about your journey. Like, what has been some of your, favorite aspects of growing, Arcas and managing the marketing and your experience through all this?
By the way, one of my favorites is a scientist responding with, "Keep interrupting me and it will be faster for sure."
It's actually pretty good.
Yeah. So that particular teaser is sort of like to align with our NFT launch. It's not NFT launch, but the NFT review. And the entire idea is to the reason why we actually sort of like does that kind of it's coming soon again. People has been waiting for the review and stuff. So we wouldn't just review just for sake of review. We would actually want to align it with our game because we are refining our demo, right? And our second version of the demo is almost done. And it's very likely for us to actually launch the demo first, then only we review the Bastonium NFT. So that is the entire scope. But yeah, the most interesting part that I find throughout the entire Arcas scope, right, is it's when it's, of course, to be very frank with you guys, it's during the bull market when everything is euphoric, all the community is so energetic, everyone gels in together as one. Building in the bear market isn't that bad, but it's sort of like have that kind of a little grim in terms of like everyone is down, everyone is like, when, just like what Sleazy has mentioned. But when it's euphoric, everyone was like, let's go LFG, sorry, not LFG, yeah.
Wag me vibes.
Those kind of vibes is funny, it's entertaining, and more memes that is coming out. Yeah, that would be the difference. So I would prefer to build when it's bullish, but that doesn't mean that when it's bear you take a break, right? You would need to work extra hard to gain the additional edge, or to make yourself more competitive among the others.
I think the euphoric part. Here's the thing about Web3. When things are new and they're fresh and a new generation gets in, they're always super exciting, right? It's almost like chasing the dragon, as people say, like a high. Like, I think, 2021 was such a big high. Like, it was so fucking big that everybody is chasing that. And the reality is if Bitcoin hitting $100,000 wasn't going to give you that, then honestly, at this point, I'm not sure what will. Because that's like speaks to the nature of humanity, right? Like there's always this concept where we want more and more and more. And it's like, okay, we hit 100,000 and then everyone's like, okay, when 200,000? And if you hit 200, people are gonna be like, okay, now when 300. So I think the fact is these markets move now more steadily, I will say. They move in smaller movements, right? Even the euphoric moments. I think sometimes you might even miss them. Like euphoria, I think at this point in the industry can take place on a given day. It could take place in a given week. It can take place in a given month, but it doesn't. I don't think bull markets, people are trying to quantify like how long is a bull market? When does it last? I'm not sure we were ever in one, to be honest with you, this year or last year. I think our bull market was that pre-election to the election, and then everything else got priced in already. And then everybody was like, okay, well, shit, what happened now? I know. What are your thoughts on it? How did you feel about this particular market so far? End of 24, moving into 25, and now?
Yeah. For what I've experienced in Arcas, the euphoric part, the most recent one, disregard where the previous bull market and stuff, the most recent one would be a year ago, Q1 2024. Those period were the most exciting part. But current market, as you have said, like some of them said it's euphoric and some of them say it's bullish. But I'm so accustomed to the previous kind of bull market. It's like everything goes crazy and stuff. But the previous bull market, I think it ended, pre-election during that period was actually a mini bull. It wasn't as euphoric, but it's definitely a bull already, and it's kind of disappointing to see it ended. That the party ended already, right? Like what is happening currently. So what we got to do now is just to focus on building and delivering what we have promised to the community and give them more in terms of like what they would expect from us. Yeah, and I guess it's the same for you guys as well, right?
Yeah, it's the same. Thank you for asking. It's the same. Really, what it is like, here's the big for us. This is our approach to everything, and it is a little bit different than some people. Our approach takes a lot of patience. We realize, at least I realize that, because I'm the type of person where I believe in killing them with kindness. I'm the type of person where I believe like it's the small details that matter. So like we'll have a bunch of people that are annoying and I'll still be like, yeah, absolutely. I hope you have a great day. Even people that are disrespectful. Like I believe that you need to treat everybody, no matter who they are, with respect. And I think even angry people or people that have, are just overall bitter, I think that just means they have something going on in their lives. I always think about it that way. Like personally, what is somebody going through? And the reason why I say all this is to say this: Posse's approach is to help others, right? Like our approach is like, we could easily just chill and talk about everything we're developing. We got some pretty cool stuff that I'm really proud of. But I think the work speaks for itself, and I think it will continue to speak for itself. And when the time comes, when somebody highlights us or when it's time to talk about it, we'll talk about it. But I think for me, what I'm excited for more importantly than anything is Web3, just in general, seeing this grow. Like, right, I've been here since the beginning of it for 10 years now, and I'm passionate about it. And a lot of people always say, like, how are you still able to be passionate about it? I can't really give you an answer. Like, I really love it. I love the people. I love the environment. I love the good, the bad, the ugly, the chaos of it. And for me, being able to highlight projects like Arcas, being able to do the Sonium town halls, being able to discover, it's because I'm a user, right? And it's easy to be excited about stuff when you're an actual user of it. And people can sense that. Like, it's sense when something's genuine. If you're just selling something and you're just promoting something, that comes across, right? Like, people know, okay, they can get that salesy vibe where you're trying to gain something. But when you're actually with the community and you're an actual user like them and you're doing the things that they do and you're kind of in the trenches, not that you need to, because we don't always have the time for that. And I understand that as well. But to me, I want to see others succeed. I'm a big advocate for helping others succeed. So like when we launch projects on the marketplace, unlike others who people just launch a collection on there, people get white glove service with us. Like we do blog articles for them. We do the public, relations with them. We do the marketing for them. Like they get a whole package. And for us, it's like, if you are able to succeed, that means we all win. So seeing Arcas's game be a success draws more users in, and it draws more people that are interested and curious to see what else is out there. So whoever that title is, whether it be Arcas or some, I can't pronounce it, Mithread. There's another game that's really cool. I think they're based in Scandinavia region in Europe. What's the name of it, Sleazy? It starts with an M. We talked to them recently.
I mean, there's like 3 countries in Scandinavia. There's
no,
Norway,
the
there's
game,
Sweden.
No, the game. The guys we just talked to recently. It starts with an M. Mithreum,
right?
Yeah, Mithreum. Like guys like that, whether it be Mithreum, whether it be like you guys who they've all been Finland. They've all been around for a while, right? Like a lot of us have been around for a while, actually. And to me, it's like seeing them succeed is great. So our MO is helping others succeed, right? Whether that be taking all of our manpower, taking everything at our disposal and focusing on getting this where it needs to be. And then that's that. And then I think the rest will shine through. Like we're excited for our game. The open world will take some time, like you said. Like people don't realize it's a lot. Like it's a lot, man. Not even just map development, not even just mechanics and characters and storylines, like server work alone. The mobile game's coming. We have that coming really soon. But, at the end of the day, it's a step at a time, right? I think I'm just enjoying this process, getting to know you and your project and everybody else that's kind of developing stuff. And I think it all falls in line when it needs to. You know what I mean? But Noodle, are you there?
Hello, I am. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. He's a wall. I was about to say he's a wall. I wanted to get your thoughts on a couple of different things. You've been working in this industry for quite some time now, as far as marketing is concerned. You've seen some cycles. You got some insight on this. You've seen some shit. Like you're a little bit seasoned at this point. How do you feel, in terms of the market, where it's moving overall? Do you think that in particular there's something that's missing still that we need? Like, what's just your overall thoughts? If you had to rant a little bit about it, what would you feel?
Well, right now, I think we're going to start seeing sort of a lot more people maybe move into private. I don't know why it's zoomed me in so much on my screen.
You're handsome. Don't worry. You're a handsome devil. You look like you came from the sky. Like it's light.
I did. Yeah. It's sunny in England. Finally. So buzzing. But I think because I'm actually writing a story on this right now, talking about sort of private equity, and that we're going to see sort of more people maybe dip into more of the private equity side, because that is, I guess, on paper safer right now, especially considering sort of like the immediate sort of aftermath of the tariff crash that has happened. So it's like it's generally proven to be more safer to move into private. So I think we might be seeing maybe these people sort of come away from the generalized market.
That's a good take. That's a hot take. I really like that. So no,
blog
honestly,
post coming Monday, 2 p.m.
I will read. Listen, I'll read your. Listen, send that paper over when you're done. Here, you know what? I think you really have a valid point, man. I think at the end of the day, a lot of people got burned through the years. And, you know, the whole point when it comes to anything with investment is people are looking for safe places to invest. And that's why most people hire like a money manager, not financial advice, do your own research, blah, blah, blah. But the fact is the name of the game is to beat inflation, right? So, like, you know, everything's inflating 4 to 7% year over year. And the reality is it's a lot to keep up with. So some people will move from stocks to bonds. Some people, you know, will move from this ETF to putting things into whatever. Maybe they'll double down on their Roth or their IRA or whatever it might be, real estate. But private equity, I think, is definitely going to be a big meal ticket this year, moving into 2026 as well, actually into the future. And IP plays a big part of that too. You know, seeing a lot more companies come into this space because it seems like they think it's a viable option now, right? There's now, you know, Sonium has also shown this too, that there are ways for things to be decentralized or involve the community in unique ways, but at the same time still protect the company's interest. Talk to me a little bit more about as far as the private equity thing is concerned. Like, I would like to get your thoughts on kind of how do you think that's going to map out? Do you think it's like companies? Do you think it's consumers? Do you think it's talk a little bit more about your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't know, because I think people are still kind of figuring out where these sort of tariffs, what they're exactly affecting.
Okay.
And I mean, if we're talking about it, so it's like private equity portfolio companies, they're still not really immune, if that's
okay.
So if it's sort of prolonged, it can be a chain reaction. But I think what we're going to see more is the companies are going to be looking to protect themselves more than the consumers, really.
Okay.
So I think if we're talking about right now, say compare it to right now, what we're doing with the badge mint and stuff like that, I feel like there'll probably be stuff like that, but instead for consumers, it's going to be reaching out to like actual investors, shareholders. We're going to be like, listen, this is what we've got going on. If you want to get into this, maybe protect your stock, up the portfolio a little bit, so that these hedge fund investors are protected. Maybe be a bit like, so instead of decentralization, it might become more, we might be taking one step forward, but a couple steps back with the market.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I think a lot of VCs, you know, over the last few years, the number one thing I've experienced, I've you know, fortunately, I got to spend a lot of time in the VC world. And what I really seen is a lot of people just, you know, get fucking burned, to be quite frank. You know what I mean? A lot of people got burned. There was funny numbers thrown out there, crazy evaluations over the last few years. You know, everyone had these super high hopes. They were riding that euphoric wave, and a lot of it never got capitalized on, right? Like, you know, what they thought was going to happen actually just plain and simple just didn't happen. So a lot of people didn't meet their mark and, you know, hit the numbers they were supposed to, quotas. A lot of people were supposed to do token launches in 2024 for Q3 and Q4, and a lot of that got pushed off to Q1. And even then, a lot of them got pushed off even further. So, like, the truth is I think a lot of people are realizing, okay, wait a minute. Like you said, they're looking for safer places to go. And I think that a lot of the VC world, and because there's new ones popping up every single day, you know, they come and go. But the reality is people are looking for something that's safer. And they're also looking to say, okay, what is my best options? Like, you know, what really works, right? Like, let's get an actual view of the landscape now that we have some experience, some skin in the game. I think once again, a lot of that is growing pains. So that was the hype time, really, right? Like, I think if we look back on this industry in retrospect, and you had to like label it and put bookmarks on it, you can clearly label when these, you know, when the hype period was, FOMO periods, stuff like that. And now I think we're in a place where it's becoming more, for lack of a better word, corporatized. But I don't think that it needs to be. I don't think it being corporatized means that, we're moving towards more centralization necessarily. I think that it's a natural power struggle. I think that companies and humans and people will naturally struggle for power. They'll naturally struggle for what's in their best interest. But people are realizing more and more that too much of anything's a bad thing, right? Like too much decentralization can be a bad thing, because then it just turns chaotic, right? Because if you look at any organization, somebody has to pay the AWS bill, right? Like somebody has to pay, all the bills that go into building a project. And not all of this is crowdfunded, right? A lot of times what ends up happening, actually more times than not, is things either get bootstrapped or VCs get involved. So it's one of those things where it's hard, because a lot of people, consumers, get entitled really quick, but the customer is also always right? Like those are their users. So you got to find that balance in that middle ground. But I do think you're right. I do think private equity is going to be a big thing. I've always been a big proponent of B2B, like, finding different ways where even if you're a consumer-based business, finding different ways to serve other businesses is crucial. You have to be diversified in a particular, not only industry like this, but just market in general, right? I feel like not enough people diversify, not just their portfolios, but their offerings and what it is that they're doing. Because a lot of times I call it a sponge effect, right? Like, you can when you squeeze out a sponge, usually when you're done washing dishes, you throw it back up on the rack, but there's always more water, right? Like nobody ever takes the time to really like put effort into it. There's always something left behind. And so I think it's really important to focus on sometimes what you're leaving behind and what you're leaving potentially on the table. So I don't know. I mean, I think it's a great take, though. I'm going to be looking forward to seeing that paper from you.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Z, what are your thoughts on that? I want to get some of your thoughts as far as like, the industry and the VC stuff. I mean, what's been your guys' experience with that?
You mean the VC, Web3 VCs or what?
Yeah, just in general, like as far as like, whether it be VCs, private equity, whether it be like, what's your take on all this?
For VCs, we actually interacted with quite a number of them, especially since we got back from Token 2049 back in Singapore. And we find that not only we, but across other partners as well that has worked together with us. And we all share the same consensus in which they are less inclined to actually get their hands on with a certain, not a certain, with actually quite a lot of sector within the Web3, especially GameFi, because we are in gaming. They are more inclined in investing in like the previous hype one, which is AIs.
D-Pin's really big too right now.
D-Pin as well, yes.
Yeah, D-Pin is really big.
Yeah, all this. So it seems like the focus shifts as quickly as what in my opinion, like what meme coins is being, certain narrative is being able to be get flushed, and then they switch over to the next one. VCs is behaving quite the similar way that what I've observed so far, and the attention is yet to return to the GameFi or gaming scene, and we shall see.
Yeah, I agree. I do think that there's a skepticism there, right? Because I think people are still looking for who's going to be that breakaway game. Like you had a game like Power World. We've never had a Power World incident, and that's not even a Web3 game. That's what's crazy about it. And I think it really, I mean, I hate to say this, but it speaks to the demographic. It speaks to the fact that I think we all have to do a better job of listening to users. I think we have to do a better job of abstracting. I think we have to do a better job of delivering, quite simply, better experiences. Because don't get me wrong, the tech is, it's come a long way. There are still some things that hold it back. But the truth of the matter is everybody says the same thing, right? Like, I spoke with the VC, and my pride, there's one thing I learned to deal with through the years. It's like pride and ego, right? When you're really passionate about something, it's easy for your pride and your ego to get the best of you. And it definitely got the best of me at times. I'd be like, what do you mean? This is a great idea. You don't know what you're talking about. But, you have to open up your heart and your mind sometimes. And these people really do sometimes know what they're talking about. You have to take it into consideration. Like we've spoken with a lot of VCs, everyone between other protocols, Delphi. I mean, you name it. We've spoken with a lot of VCs. We're in the process of a seed round. But the reality is the one thing that I've learned is that everybody does say a lot of the same shit. And you have to find different ways to kind of, set yourself apart from the crowd. And it's more than just, a flashy game. It's also the way you present yourself, right? Like founder marketing is more important now than ever. Putting yourself out there, making sure that you're continuing to show people. You got to get behind your product, right? Like you have to really be passionate about your product. And the one thing that you see with a lot of these indie game studios in the Web 2 quote unquote world is that they're very active, whether it be in Reddit, and they have communities. Like you got to get involved in the places where gamers are, right? Going to the gaming conventions, like really kind of putting yourself out there. And the truth of the matter is it takes time. Nobody wants to focus on wallets. Like gaming by itself is already a very complicated thing. So to add more elements to it in an already a competitive and crazy market, it just sometimes can make it a little bit overwhelming for people. And what they just want to focus on is just a good game. And until we have a Pow World incident, right? Like we had one with Pixel, right? So Pixel broke out. It was probably like in Hamster Combat. We're probably like the biggest games to date. I mean, their user base even shit on Axie Infinity. Like, at their peak, like they had, like even Axie Infinity at its peak was like 2.8 million users, whatever the fuck it was. Their MAU was somewhere around there. And that was huge. Don't get me wrong. For a Web 2 game, for a Web 3 game, that's big. For any game standard, it's pretty big. But the reality is it died fast. And it's just because you have to look at sustainability of the model. When you start introducing things like Ponzi-nomics and tokens and things like that, people ask themselves right away, is this sustainable? And that's the goal, right? Is sustainability. And if you look at Illuvium and you look at a bunch of other projects, people look up to these projects and they see like they're bigger. But you look at where they're actually at too. They're still grinding like you, me, like anybody else. And there's a lot of them, people in Web3 lose interest fast. They jump and they migrate to the next big thing. And that's how VCs now, VCs, I can't even be mad at them because they're a product of their environment, right? Their job is to do one thing and one thing only, is to make money, right? So for me, I have to put myself in other people's shoes. And when I speak with a VC, I think, well, how the bottom line is you could sell them on the vision, you could sell them on the team and how amazing everything is, but they want one thing and one thing only, to make money. Like that is it, right? So in their mind, it's like, how are you going to make me money? And you could say, hey, a lot of people are going to be passionate about my game and they're going to use it and they're going to be like, that's great, but where is that now? You know what I mean? Or can you prove to me that if I invest A into this, then I will get B results? And you have to quantify that. And I think that the reality is that's not as easy to do as it is to talk about. So I think a lot of projects in Web3 are great. Like if you go on even any chain, like, listen, man, I'm chain agnostic type of guy. I love Sonium. We're building on Sonium native. It's incredible. And I'm going to support it because I believe in the long term, in the future, what it represents. And that's great. But when you look at gaming, what happens on whether it be Ronin or Immutable, Avalanche, Immutable, if you go on their site, there's a lot of great games. I'm sorry. Like, I'm not going to apologize for that, actually. Like, the reality is on other channels, I've seen some great games. And I've jumped on there and I've jumped in a few and the artwork is cool or there's something like we get stuck in our fishbowl. And sometimes you have to get outside the echo chamber. It's so easy to get caught up in an echo chamber. And I've seen a lot of these other projects and I think to myself, well, how the hell are these guys not well known or doing better? And it always boils down to small things. It's the marketing or it's the team or it's how it's presented or it's the consistency and also distribution channels. Right? Like people have to take a chance and break more into, mainstream distribution channels. They have to get in and break in with a lot of these larger companies and larger gaming communities and whatever clan it might be. Right. Because when you look at a gaming Discord in terms of quote unquote Web 2, there are like 50,000, like jump into any of Unreal Engines. Like there's no official, but if you jump into any like Unreal Engine Discord, it's fucking massive. And there's like 100 people in a VC. There is no Discord in anywhere in Web3 that's like that. And even the cults like Miladies, I'm a big Milady fan. Even if you looked at D-Gods at their height, like when you jump into these Discords, you don't see popping like that. Like it's just not. Like even if you look at Bored Ape Yacht Club, even if you look at Pudgy Penguins, Like, it's not popping like that. And the reality is that's a different type of culture. And, you know, you have to understand that culture. And if you do decide to do something new and modern, well, then you have to target to it that generation. You know what I mean? Targeting something completely new to, you know, boomers or an older millennial generation on gaming, it's going to be a lot harder than catering to the next generation of gamers. And it's also a precarious situation at times, because if you look at it in terms of this, you know, that younger generation, this is kind of gambling in a way. So like, you know, you can't push crypto on like 15, 16-year-olds. So you're kind of stuck with that 18 to like, you know, 45-year-old demographic, right? Like there's a bunch of gamers in their 50s and 60s. Don't get me wrong. But like, you're stuck in that demographic, and you have to know how to target the demographic. You have to know the sub demographics. You know, I think there's so much more to that. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
So like I mean, like I fully agree with what you have mentioned in terms of like a crypto gaming and stuff, because we have been to at this point it's pretty obvious, right? For GameFi, it just wouldn't cut it. It's just not gonna work. So who is the one that is gonna play our game would be, again, ultimately Web2 users. Web3, it's not so much about enjoying the game. It's all about monetization. It's all about getting rewarded, token, diamond, farm and stuff, right? So if our demographic, again, like what you have mentioned, if our demographic is this group of people and only them, then it's gonna be, I mean, like, if you were to survive for like I don't know, like 2 years, you consider lucky already, right? So,
if you're able to,
yeah,
that's crazy you say that, man.
So at the end of the day, like for us, we don't, whenever it comes to the game side of things, the gaming marketing and all, we target web users, like the future game shows on Steam Next Fest. These are the things that we target, because we want this demographic in terms of Web2 gamers, young Web2 gamers, to play the likes of Power players, the likes of Valorant players. We need this group of people to actually discover our game, play our game, and enjoy our game. So how we actually, I mean, for us, how we integrate it with Web3 is we utilize tokens, our Web3 style of audience, where they hold our tokens, they stake it, and the yield is based on the players, the Web2 players' in-game performance. The higher the MMR is, then the more reward, the more APY or APR that you'll be getting for a token. So these are the things that we need to actually have a balance in. I mean, being clear to everyone, to tell them that, hey, you know what, Web3 guys, crypto guys, CT, you will not get any token, or you will not get rewarded by playing our game. You know, if you want to get rewarded in terms of financial monetization, just go ahead and buy our token and stake it. If you were to stay for our game and you enjoy playing with your friends, in-game experience and all, okay, then that's for you. If not, we wouldn't push it up into their face, up in their throat, in forcing them to play our game. We leave that to the Web2 guys. Let them enjoy the game, let them play it, which is why we have to ensure the game would be like, there is high replayability, and the graphic is fun, it's interesting, and there is a hook which brings users come in, like in the beginning of the show we have mentioned the banana gun, and another recipe would be the chicken glider, where instead of parachute we use chicken to glide around the map. These are the things that we are looking to retain, or to pull the attention from the Web2 audience to actually play our game. So that is the thoughts that we have, and we have been working towards this direction for quite a while.
Listen, I think you're right. Before I pass it to Sleazy for a final rundown, news for today and all that great stuff, I will say this, and I'm convinced of this. This is personally my personal belief. It's my mantra. It's just to summarize my, 35 years on this earth and experience of everything I've gone through. This boils down to two things. I look at games all the time that are famous, right? Snake on your phone, and for those old enough to remember, on a Nokia, it was just a little game. You went around in circles. I look back on what Minecraft was in the beginning. I look back on Roblox. I look at all these games, right? And I'm in a lot of gaming guilds. Like, I'm really involved in the industry, and I have to really take a second. And when I'm playing these games, I play some shitty. Overall, the graphics are shit. The mechanics for some of these games are shit. I was playing a game with Noodle and the homies on that stream, and overall, what's the name of that game, Noodle? You're muted. What was the name of the game?
That's embarrassing. Lethal Company.
Okay. That game was complete shit. But I'm going to say this. It was fun and cool, and I liked it. And I had a fucking blast playing it. And this brings me to my point. It really does. Gaming is about having great branding, great marketing, great graphics. Yes. It is about mechanics. Yes. But it's a lot more about culture, timing, and distribution. The reality is I look back on whether it be Mario, Sonic, what made GTA so big? What made Final Fantasy so big? Yes, they had incredible storylines. Yes, they have extremely large and submersive worlds and so much shit going on. And Zelda had great storylines. I love it's my top 3 favorite games of all time. And I look at it, and that's important. But what's more important is, one, the distribution. Like, the more your game is talked about, the more bigger people also talk about it, the more just naturally people are going to come in, right? Like, whether they like it, it doesn't matter whether they even play it. People will play it. They'll talk shit about it. They'll bash it, or they'll tell you how good it is. The reality is you need eyes and traffic. And Web3 does not have enough traffic to sustain the gaming industry. The gaming industry, I'm not going to go as far as to say it's a monopoly, but even the business, the publisher side, like, a lot of people don't understand how the publisher industry is vicious. It's cutthroat. So it's really about who you align yourself with as well. If you have the money to spend on clicks and getting your, game in front of a bunch of guilds, getting your game through Google ads and through whatever it is, the one route is spending a shit ton of money on marketing and just pay per clicks, PPC, and just getting it out there. The next big thing is you have to align yourself with a big brand, movie stars, KOLs. That really matters. Aligning yourself with Rockstar and Sledgehammer, they get where they're at, one, because of the budget. You know what I mean? Their games are already out there, so they already have money to reallocate. So they just allocate their funding as it's necessary to build. But a lot of that goes to marketing, branding. Putting it on Steam is great, but running ads are important too. Distribution is everything. It literally is everything. Because look, man, Pixel, great, shitty everything. It's a simple tap game. So someone like me doesn't get that, but there are millions of people that still play it, right? Or at the time, pardon me, hundreds of thousands of people that played it. There are a bunch of games like Roblox that are so simple. Like, I'm a big Rust fan. So Roblox has a version called Fallen, and people love it and they play it. And Roblox is so stupid. If you go on Roblox and you got these the weirdest shit, but it's a cult. People play it, people love it, and they consume the shit out of it. So the graphics clearly don't matter. Clearly, it didn't matter. 2, what mattered? Okay, the mechanics mattered a little bit. You needed a functioning game, right? So if the mechanics are good, that's great. But what is the biggest factor? Like, I'm dissecting this like a scientist. I'm putting it under a microscope. I'm analyzing it. Using first principle thinking, critical thinking. What really made Roblox so big? 1, it was accessible to anybody. It's not hyper intensive on CPU, GPU, whatever that hardware is. 2, it's comical. Like, they sold the fact that it's comical and it's culture and people love it, right? Older people can play it. Younger people can play it. It appeals to the old, low poly demographic of gaming, from those that played in the 80s and 90s and maybe even 70s. But it also appeals to newer generations that like more modern end gameplay. So for me, what did it boil down to? It boiled down to marketing. Minecraft and Roblox have been sitting at the #1. Go in any gaming thing right now. Just go online and type in top 10 games right now in the world. You'll never knock them off the top fucking 5 or 3 or whatever they are. You'll never. Because it's, I mean, obviously in time you will, but it's just what they have mind share. They have mind share. And that's what it boils down to anything in business. It's mind share. How are you going to capture that mind share? And unfortunately, there's not enough mind share to capture in quote unquote Web3. So this is a great place to, you know, plant your roots, maybe get some funding, but it hasn't been tested at scale yet. You know, there hasn't been, we haven't seen a server getting over. Well, you're not going to see servers like Rust that has like, you know, as some servers had 1,000 pop, and like you're looking like, you know what I mean? That's nutty shit. And you won't, and we still have yet to see that, right? We still have yet to see someone pull off a Pal World where they just came out of nowhere and took everything by storm. Like that is big. We have yet to see somebody hit the scene as hard as Elden Ring did. And until that happens, that's mind share. That's good sales. That's good PR. You know what I mean? Like that's just good reaching out to major brands and saying, hey, what would it take to work with you? Like, what would it take? Like, you know what I mean? Because they don't need you. They don't need me. They don't need any of us. I'm saying, I'm speaking to everybody out there that's listening that is, you know, into gaming. They don't need any of us, right? Like they do in some ways. Don't get me wrong, because they do. They need, you know, certain quality, but a lot of those connections get funneled back to the same old people. You know what I mean? So to break into that algorithm, so to speak, you know, mind share is important. And the only way to do it in this generation of social media is content. Content creation is king. Flooding content. That is how you win this battle. That's why we do it the way we do. It may take years. I learned a fun fact. Epic Games, I say this all the time, blows my mind. Epic Games became a company in 1991. 1991. But you didn't know about Epic Games until Fortnite. I can promise you that fucking blew my mind. Like they've been a company for as long as I've been alive almost, bro. That is crazy. And I didn't know about them until Fortnite. And Fortnite wasn't even what it was when it came out. Fortnite was a fucking zombie game. And it's crazy because Unreal Engine became a big deal later and they developed all these products. But it goes to show that some people have been grinding for 20 years before they break it. It's connections, man. Keep shaking hands with people. Keep networking. Don't stop, because honestly, sometimes the people that win are just the ones left over when the smoke clears. So sometimes it just ends up being a battle of just waiting everyone out. And that's what grit and resiliency is. That being said, that's my final thoughts on this. I will pass it to Sleazy, who's got some pretty cool stuff.
All right, so you haven't played with us D&D, so I'm just going to present everything. You don't need to know what to do here. So you enter a Wild Western bar, and Monsieur Viscous greets you. Bonjour, mes amis. Depending on the time of day, would you like some breakfast, lunch, or dinner, or maybe a drink? What would you like?
I would like, I'm a whiskey guy, so I don't know. Give me a good bourbon, man. You know, I'm saying, give me a good whiskey. Like, give me, I don't know. We'll do bourbon. Give me a good bourbon.
Good taste you have right here, sir. Right away. What about you two?
I'm a vodka, but then I need a Coke on the side. As a chaser guy, personally.
I love
what. What is this blasphemy? I'll give you vodka, and that's it.
Z,
what
do you drink, Z?
Can I have a glass of orange juice?
I love it. I love it.
I'll give you water.
Oh, man.
So, fine gentlemen, for today we have some big news about, and they come from some rather peculiar fellas. Some of them you might even call mystical. But instead of me telling you about it and spoiling the secret, why don't you go to them and find out for yourselves?
Okay.
Now, this is quite a this is the least interesting fellas that you will meet today, to be honest.
What's
So,
he putting in his mouth?
Yeah, what is that? Is that celery?
I was about to say, is that celery?
I thought it was celery.
Yeah, perhaps he confused the straw for celery. Sometimes people are not in their right mind after a whole night of drinking.
But he's not even got anything on the table. He's just got a straw in his mouth.
He's just got
yeah, that probably is not the original table he used. You know how people are going from one tavern to the other.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So what's next?
Yeah.
What do I got to ask him?
So you come up to him, you introduce yourself.
What's up, homie?
That's how they talk in the West. That's how I've played Red Dead 2. What's up, gang? What's up, gang?
Howdy.
Howdy, strangers. Hold on, I'll move this here. Name's Jet Valsper. From the wide open plains where a man's wealth is his horse and his grit.
Okay.
You know, I heard them city folks recently being mad over some stuff. They live over in that Marketia city, rather. They're losing their minds over this crash. I heard it's called S&Pentacles. It's down 10.7%. I hear that number so much that I even memorized it, even though I've been drinking all night. You know, it doesn't bother me none. But my old pal Tobin, he lives in that city, and he's taking it real hard. You got any stake in all that ruckus? S&Pentacle?
Tobin's real tired of winning, man. He's been winning so much.
Listen. So, all right, before I jump in and throw you off, what comes next? Or are we talking about the S&P taking a shit?
Yeah, so the game is I will throw a bunch of statements from this guy. It can be a truth or it can be a lie. Or it can be an exaggeration. Or it can be a speculation. Your job is to determine which one it is.
Okay, done. So truth, lie, speculation. Boom, we'll guess. Okay, shoot.
Yeah. So, I'll start with this one. You know, my old buddy Tobin, he heard there's a wild yarn in the market square. This Trumpius ain't just taxing goods. He's cursed the coins, even. They say every gold piece touched by the tariff turns into lead overnight. Hogwash, I reckon, but city folk are checking their own purses as we speak.
Okay, yeah, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah. Sorry, just quick. ETH is going back up, I think, isn't it?
Right? Let me check. Let me take a looky.
I think it was slowly going. It was one of them. It was either ETH or Solana. I can't remember. It was going slowly back up, or Bitcoin as well.
Solana. Let's see. What do we got from Solana?
Solana is probably not the best indicator of how market is doing.
Yeah, I was about to say. I wouldn't agree. Solana's not even in the top 10, man. All right, now are they? Yeah, they are.
But even if they were, I would
they are number 7. They're number 7. They're number 7. Yeah. Damn. Whoa. See, I've been so busy today. I haven't really had much of a chance. Listen, Bitcoin's never going to hit below 50 again. I'm just letting you guys know. All you people that are hoping for 40K Bitcoin, never going to happen again. Just please stop even thinking about it. Like, it's over. Like 50K Bitcoin, it will never happen again. Now, as far as Ethereum, these are crazy prices, guys. Matter of fact, I got to make some purchases today because this is wild. Like, I think that this is, listen, man, I want to say so much about this subject. What he's doing, I personally think that this is a power move. I'm sorry, I'll say it. I think it's a genius fucking move to crash the market. I do. Because listen, man, some of these prices to get back in for those that are smart enough to do their own research and for those that pay attention, man, there's opportunity here. I don't see negative. I'm not that type of person. I see nothing but opportunity. Bro, I'm looking at Ethereum at $1,400, right? I'm looking at Solana at $100. Like, that's crazy. Like, I'm looking at Bitcoin even tank. Like, how much lower do you want it? There's never a good time to buy. There'll never be a good time to buy.
Is Bitcoin at 50 now, or has it gone back up?
No, fuck no. Bitcoin's at 76, and it's still taking a little bit more of a shit. But guys, these prices, Like, come on, man. No one ever. People said I'll never hit 100. I'm telling you, I called it last year. I'll say it again this year. Bitcoin, not only this, it was going to hit 100 in December, but I'm saying we're going to hit $200,000 Bitcoin by the end of 2026. And I'm telling you, 100% within the next, I'll say this, within the next 18 months, 2 years, we will 100% see 200K Bitcoin. So I don't give a shit, to be honest with you, what this price is now. I don't even pay attention to that. This is just fucking, this is a great time to buy. The market's down. Like, you know what I mean? It's completely taking a shit. What better time? If you were stupid with your money and your investments and you spent your paycheck on everything instead of paying your rent and your bills and your phone bill, and you splurged and ate out every day, and you spent all your money on dumb shit, of course you're going to wonder why you don't have anything left over. But the reality is if you're smart, it's times like these, it's still cliche, but what Warren Buffett said, be greedy when people are fearful, right? And be fearful when people are greedy. So that's my 2 cents on it. I don't know about you guys, but like, this is beautiful. I love this. When I see this market like this, I'm like, let's go. How much lower can it go, bro? Send it to fucking zero. Like, please send it to fucking zero, man. Go ahead.
Yeah. Next one. Word from Tobin's last letter says the crash hit Marketia fierce. The S&Pentacle dropped 10.7% in just 3 days. Started when Trumpio slapped a 10% tariff on everything coming in. City folks' savings are shrinking fast. That my buddy told me it's near broke.
That's definitely true.
Mm-hmm. Yep, just 3 days.
Yeah, just 3. Yeah, it's all gonna lift, guys. By literally.
It's not going to last.
Because listen, you want to see indicators? Look at the indicator. Stop looking at shit that doesn't matter. Stop getting involved emotionally in the hype. Gas prices are what? Fucking lower. Eggs, food, everything that people complained about are lower. How are we in an economic downturn, yet quote unquote everything is still cheaper than what it was 6 months ago? Come on, man. Like, do some common sense. Like, it's see the
if
market.
You're a student, that's great. That's great time for you because everything's cheaper.
Yeah, like, guys, it is quite literally cheap. Everything's supposed to skyrocket because of tariffs. I have not seen it. I have not seen it anywhere. We're supposed to have all these tariffs imposed on us and all this, and countermeasures. And I listen, man, I'm not rich by far. I'm not. I'm an average person, just like everyone else out there. And I'm telling you, everyone I know is getting by. Job unemployment rate is still low. You know what I mean? Still has a low, what was it, 3-4%? Somewhere around there. Still super low. I mean, guys, what more? Like, this is all bullshit. It's just speculation. It's talking points, right? The media will do anything to create. It's their business, right? That's how they make money. They get clicks and views. So they're always going to talk about the negative because guess what? We live in a fucked up generation where nobody's positive anymore and negativity sells.
Yeah, that's actually what the next one was going to be. Double scribbled that the tariffs making goods pricier in the city. Bread's up a copper a loaf already. But yeah, we just said it's false.
Unemployment.
It's cheaper, actually.
Unemployment rate right now, nationally. It is what I thought. Unemployment rate right now as February was 4.1%. Bro, that's fucking low. You know what I mean? Like, that's pretty damn good.
Next one. I reckon this crash will pass like a dust storm. City folk will adapt or flee. Tobin might come join me out in the west if his coin drains up. Trump is good up the tariff 20% next, though. Heard that's his next play to squeeze out more out of those trade trails.
Actually, that might be true. I'm not sure.
Wait, what was it again? Up it.
Yeah.
I know he's with who?
With who? Yeah, because it's individual. It's based on everybody individually.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that it says 10%. I don't know if it's like average.
Because I saw somewhere they were like, if he said if he's upping it with China, and a rumor is he's going to up it with Russia as well. If they keep backing out of peace talks.
Yeah, because the UK, as far as the UK and Israel and a couple others, like we're all dropping them completely. Like Israel's in favor; they're not giving us any, and more than likely because of that, we won't do anything with them. And same thing with the UK. Like we're fucking family. Like we might as well be the same country. So like there's never gonna be any issue with that. Like I just, Canada was an entirely different situation, and there's reasons for that. We can go into that another time. But there was a very, very particular reasons for that.
Yeah. Go next. Goes. Greetings, mortals. I am Zephyrian. Older than your grandest sires. Been strumming tunes since before this town had a name. The S&Pentacle's crashing down. 10.7%. That's a trifle. I've seen much bigger in my days. I've seen empires fall and rise. This is just a jest in the long song of time. Care for a quip or a wager?
I'll take a wager, bro.
Yeah.
Fuck
Let's
a quip.
gamble a little bit.
Let's be a degenerate.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't really planning for this. It's just the line that AI gave me.
Oh shit.
God,
Okay.
Okay.
I
I thought we were about to make some money.
Yeah, you got me excited, man.
Yeah.
Okay, so he says, the crash is real enough for short-lived folk. The S&Pentacle fell 10% since Trump used tariffs. I glanced on X scroll in the square. Your coins quiver. We already said about it. Let's go next. I wanted the market yesterday. Heard traders curse as Ethercoin dipped too. Bitcoin to 78K after tumble. It's tied to the same tariff mess, but to me, it's just another ripple in the centuries. We just talked about it, so
I was going to say, we just checked that, didn't we?
Yeah,
we just checked.
It was like,
listen, we cover everything.
Yeah,
we're on top of shit. We're on top of shit, man.
We know for a fact Bitcoin's 78K because Chris has literally just told us like 5 minutes ago.
I heard a whisper that Trumpius turned S&Pentacle's gold into a giant statue of himself. Claims it's sitting in his keep, glowing all orange and yellow. Pure nonsense, but it would make a grand ballot.
No.
Okay.
Do you think he really did it? Well, yeah.
No.
Yeah,
no, I do not.
Damn, I'm looking at some easy doubles. My bad. I'm looking at the market too as you're saying this, and there's some easy like 2x's. There's some easy doubles, man. This is like not even fucking like a no-brainer. Like I don't even want to say it because it's that obvious. Like you could stick no matter what. Honestly, all right. Look, I regardless of what you want to say about Solana, like it's at $100, bro. That's a guaranteed fucking not financial advice. Do your own research. That's a guaranteed fucking 2x right there. Guaranteed at the minimum, right? It's going to go back up to 220, 240 again. Like that's a given. It's Solana. Like I'm not even fucking questioning that. I'm not even looking at it. That is what for anyone that was looking to get in any ecosystem, 1,000 million gajillion %. That is an easy double. You know what I mean? But it takes money. A lot of people think you could come in with a stock market with like $1,000. Yeah, I mean, sure. Like, maybe. Like it depends on what is your gain? Like, what are you looking for? It's different for everybody. Like, people are looking for these crazy 10,000 X's where you come in with $1 and you make fucking like a gajillion dollars on meme coins. That's like so fucking far removed from the truth. Because half of the people that are holding it's distributed, even it's rigged. Like you have founders that launch coins and they just have a bunch of wallets they distribute it all from so they can fool bubble maps and shit like that. And the reality is it's when I say rare, I mean fucking rare. It's about as rare as the fact that you were born. You know what I mean? To hit on a meme coin like that. And I'm so serious, like wake up call. But there are realistic gains. You could swing trade and try to beat them, beat the market, but you could trade the dips. It's basically like your chance here. It's a quick double, but I don't know. I do see a couple that I think are, like I said, great opportunities. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Go ahead.
I heard news that the Orange Lord disbanded all coin watchers. It says it's to stop those Zoomer folk jesting at his tariffs.
Wait.
What do you think?
True? Wait, what?
Yo, Z, what do you think? Is it true or false?
I guess I go with. Sorry, what was the question again?
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he
I
says,
kind of lost.
Orange Lord disbanded all coin watchers. He says it's to stop Zuma folk from jesting about his tariffs.
So
Uh-huh.
are we
So
talking?
so it
Go on, Z.
so
That
yeah,
that there's
true or false, right?
speculation that Trump is disbanding coin watchers.
Oh, all right.
I don't think so. There's no way.
Yeah, false. Yeah.
Yeah, that's false.
What's
Wait,
going
when you
on?
said coin watchers, I thought you meant like Doge for a second.
No, Coin Watchers is a big account on CT.
Okay.
They're like they alpha call shit and all that. I don't know if you want to call it alpha. They kind of just like track the market type shit.
Yeah. Welcome, seekers of secrets. I am Lady Veritas, keeper of Marquetius Whispers. The coin vaults lost 10% in a blink, they say, all thanks to the Trumpius tariff tantrum. I've heard it all, panic, jests, and wild yarns.
Okay.
Oh, shoot. My spies report the city's vaults are locking up tight. Traders say the tariffs cut trade by a fifth already. Goods pile up at the gates and prices climb while savings dwindle.
I don't know what the fuck to make of that. I was processing the whole thing that you were doing. I was just like, holy shit. Let me see.
It's kind of like a sort of a demon female voice, but I'm not.
No, it's
good at that
okay.
yet.
I listen. Your voice is beautiful. Sure.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, I was about to say. All right.
A juicy tidbit of news from my spies lately. The Orange Lords disbanded the Crypto Guards and plans to outlaw Giggle tokens next.
No, that's stupid.
Yep. A merchant swore Trumpius hacks the tariff to summon goblins that steal one coin from every purse nightly.
No, get the fuck out of here. That ain't true. Can you imagine?
Yeah, Trump is summoning goblins.
Fucking it. Yeah, probably, bro. Yeah, listen, man. I don't know about you, but that's cool. Is that the last one?
And one more.
One more?
The crash is no fable. The S&Pentacle fell 10%. Hold on, what? Nah, it's the same thing.
You know, fucking
Yeah.
you. All right.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's it.
Okay, perfect.
I hope you had a fun time listening to our interesting guests, and we'll see you next time.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Listen, guys, that was another great show. That being said, look, man, plain and simple, man. I love you guys. It's absolutely incredible that I get to do this. It's absolutely incredible that we get to have a blast just doing crazy, weird, random shit. And we just do it and it just works somehow. And Z, you've been an awesome guest. Honestly, I really appreciate your feedback, whether it be on the marketing, just overall in general, the industry, some really great insight for those that, want to go back and listen. If you're just tuning in now, definitely make sure you go check out Arcas Champions. Their demo is live. Go play that shit. I'm telling you, man, go check it out. Go play it. Go give them some feedback. What the hell is it going to take you a couple seconds to go jump in, download a you're doing a whole bunch of other dumb shit you shouldn't be doing throughout your day. So you might as well take the time to do something that's worth doing, which is support, man. Support is everything. As far as us is concerned, stay tuned. We got some announcements for you guys today. I'm going to be jumping back in on also a podcast, side hustle stuff full time. Sleazy's got a bunch of shows that he's putting up, and we're going to be working with Noodle to bring you guys a show. Also, Noodle, what I really want to do too is let's get another game night session going, and let's
mate. Don't even get me started.
Let's do it. I want to do it. I want to do it ASAP. So let's get another late night or however you want to do it. Get a gaming session going. Get the boys together. I'm going to fucking record that. It's going to be wild, and we'll get it rocking and rolling. Until next time, I love you guys. Stay true to each other, man. Just be yourself, man. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who you are, where you're from, what you look like, what you sound like. Nobody gives a shit, man. They just care about you being yourself and having fun. So, peace.
That's not the button.
No. No, I know it's not the point. Listen, these are the types of things that you record for later on and you send. This is a blooper, by the way. This was unintentional, but here we go. You ready? Bye.